Welcome back to the birelART UK Karting Series paddock here at Shenington. The Elites E-Final is coming up next, and the reigning E-Plate champion is Patrick Lay, and he's made a comeback. Great to have you back in the paddock again.
Yep, no, it's good to see everybody, and thanks for the welcome back, Jake. It's a bit of a late entry, as usual, but we've been off racing Mazda MX-5s this year, which has been different to what we're used to, but I'm pleased to be back in the seat of something that I know well.
So at least we know the racecraft is still up to scratch. I know how competitive that Mazda Championship is, but here, of course, the kart is a lot more powerful, a lot more intense than anything you'd get on the circuits.
Oh, it's huge difference. You know, you're from a 2-minute 20 lap time in a Mazda to 43 seconds in an easy kart. But no, I love it. It's what I know. It's what my roots are, and it's what I enjoy most really. So I can't fault easy kart for that at all.
And it's been a very competitive season with the likes of Sam Faulkner, Richard Evans, Ami Jerger all taking wins. It's very close. How are you going to put yourself right back in the fray and be at the top again?
I need to think about that still. I haven't got long now, but no, we're looking good. We've always got pace in the wet or the dry. But the one thing I like about birelART is the fact that the drivers have respect for each other. So the racing is going to be close. But yeah, I'll think about how we can get the most out of it when we get on the start grid, I think.
So will you retain that E-Plate crown?
That's the plan. That's what I'm here for.
Fair enough. Well, hopefully it's going to be a good weekend for you, Patrick. Good luck.
Great, thank you.
The reigning E-Plate holder starts from P3 though. Sam Faulkner and Matthew Pearce set up a showdown on the front row. Lay has Matt Rainbow beside him with Tom Snape and Elliot Stanley on the third row. Baldwin, Corey, Ami Jerger and David Darling round out the top 10 with Will Checkley and Carl Watt in there with Dave Burns at the back of the field. Richard Evans starts all the way back in P15 after retiring from the pre-final. This one's going to be an interesting one. Away we go. And up to the first couple of corners we go. This is going to be a tight one. Patrick Lay hanging on to the leaders as they go through the first 2-3 corners all together. Patrick Lay's already starting to drop back a little bit from Faulkner and Pearce. He needs to get there on the brakes. He has caught them back up. So this is going to be a really interesting battle. The leading three are starting to break away. Richard Evans has already got past a couple of karts as they battle away. Tom Snape currently in 4th position. There's Evans making up a few places in the Bruno Ferrari chicane. I make that 4 karts he's passed already. Now Jason Bradbury started the weekend pretty strongly, 4th in the qualifying this morning, but he's been tumbling backwards down the order ever since. Will Checkley pulled a fast one in qualifying. You remember the last race, the juniors, when the slick tyre drivers all came through? Well, anybody who put slicks in the Elites qualifying session ended up at the front, and only 3 of them tried it. And Richard Evans was the pole sitter, Tom Snake was 2nd, and Will Checkley was a heroic 3rd in qualifying. He's been trying to hang on ever since, but it's all tumbled away. Sam Faulkner still battling away at the front of the field. Championship leader and race leader. He is working to get the championship won today. Depending on where Richard Evans finishes, it's pretty much all but done, but Evans is working his way through. So Evans was trying to close down the gap to Faulkner. Faulkner is starting to pull away again and heading to Wilton Mill. Provided he wins, it's almost done. I'm just trying to do the math. It's almost done. We'll have to double check at the end to see whether he sealed the championship or whether it goes to Wilton Mill as Elliot Stanley makes his move on the inside of Tom Snape. Is he through? Oh, sorry, that's not Tom Snape he's got through. Snape is there on the back of Patrick Lay, but he makes his way, tries to make his way on the inside of Baldwin, and Baldwin shuts the door firmly in his face on the undercut as Pearce again tries to make his move on Faulkner. Now these two have battled all the way through the season, Faulkner and Pearce. Pearce seems to have had the pace in 1 lap qualifying, but in terms of race, it's always Faulkner that seems to get the better of him in a straight fight, but that is not for the want of trying. Faulkner has been resolute in his work ethic, so too has Matthew Pearce. They push each other to their absolute limits on the racetrack, these two. Faulkner and Pearce has been a major rivalry through the 2017 season, and ultimately, in terms of raw pace, you could argue it should be Pearce up there battling with Faulkner for the championship, but unfortunately, Pearce has had too many things happen as Rainbow nearly goes right into the side of John Corrie as they battle for position. Look at Richard Evans. He has stormed through past all of these karts. Richard Evans is through into, I think that's 5th position. It is, in there behind Snape. Then it's Stanley, Baldwin, Corrie, Ami Jerger, and then Matt Rainbow in front of David Darling. What an absolutely incredible first few laps for Richard Evans. Well, being P5, if he can make up at least 1 more place, I think that will take the championship fight down to Wilton Mill. We'll have to confirm it, but he is racing for his chance to stay in the hunt for the championship. The one person he didn't need to be in front of him, really, was Patrick Lay, who has returned for the E-Plate. He wants to see how well he can do, despite having been in the Mazda MX-5 series in the BRSCC for the last year. But he's come straight back to it, and once again is at the front. So he's clearly lost none of his speed, none of his edge, but he is now battling with the likes of Tom Snape, who's really stepped up a gear of late. Richard Evans, though, is right behind them. Look at that. He's been second in the first 5 finals of the 2017 season and had wins of his own through the year as well. And that's where Richard Evans has become the championship challenger to Sam Faulkner. He wants to battle him for the title, wants to get a place on him. Snape goes right, Evans goes left and takes the place. So that is a brilliant bit of overtaking there from Richard Evans. Now, can he step up the game to make a move on Patrick Lay? Lay has been out of the seat for a year. Richard Evans has been in it all year. Look at Faulkner and Pierce. They've disappeared out front. Patrick Lay is defending from Richard Evans. He's clearly absolutely determined to hang on to third position, but he thinks he can't catch them. Evans is up the inside. Lay holds onto it. Snape's back through to 4th position. Well, the race is now for 3rd position, clearly in the minds of those three. They can't catch Faulkner and Pierce in their current form. Absolutely amazing. Look, Matthew Pierce, every single move, every twitch of the steering wheel Faulkner makes, every braking point, every throttle blip, he is making exactly the same moves as Evans repeats the move on Tom Snape into Paddock Bend on the next lap. So he is through, up into 4th again. But watch these two, Faulkner and Pierce. Pierce is giving Sam Faulkner so much pressure. Sam Faulkner has a very busy schedule over the 2017 season. Not only is he racing in the birelART UK Series, he does compete in a couple of other championships too. And this is one heck of a workout Matthew Pierce is giving him. Now that's Will Checkley trying to make his way past the inside of the 166, I think that was, of Carl Watt, who managed to get his first finish of the season earlier on today. He was delighted with that. Look at Evans right round the outside as he tries to get past Patrick Lay. That was a suggestion that Lay, you are going too slowly. You're holding me up. He even gesticulates to him. You're holding me up. Come on, get out of the way. I'm fighting for the championship. You're not. You're just a one-day meeting man. So here comes Faulkner and Matthew Pierce. And here comes the challenge. Lay is in 3rd. Evans is swarming around all over the back of him in 4th position, trying to get the undercut. Can he cut through this time? Lay tries to move across. Evans is already alongside him. Keep your foot in, Richard! And he's through. The back end steps out like Billy-O, but he's through. My goodness. He really had to work for that. And now he's gesturing to the guys behind. Come on, look, we've let them get away. You've been foolish. They're a million miles ahead, and Lay's going to try and come back. Richard Evans, it's not going to work. And Elliot Stanley is the man who's going to try and take the place off him now. He's got past Snape. So Stanley's going to try and go for Lay. And here are your leaders out in front. I'm almost out of breath watching that Evans, Lay, Stanley, Snape squabble. Here's Faulkner versus Pierce. Pierce still desperately trying to crack Faulkner under pressure. Every single lap he's getting closer as Bradbury throws it up the inside and gets past David Darling. Such a shame. Jason Bradbury 4th earlier on in the day, and he could so easily have got himself up to the front. In fact, of the wet weather qualifying runners, Bradbury was the 3rd fastest. That was good enough for 6th going into the first race of the weekend. The only drivers that were faster than him were actually Sam Faulkner and Matthew Pierce, which is no mean feat at all. My voice is going again. Always the way in the birelART UK Series. Here they come, down the straight once again to the hairpin. Matthew Pierce again trying to put Sam Faulkner under pressure. Count the seconds till Evans appears. Then it's Patrick Lay. Look, that's how much time he's losing. He's dropping back a long way to Richard Evans. Spots on the camera again. Maybe the rain is starting to come back. Patrick Lay, look, he's swarming around all over the place. He's really not comfortable in defense mode. Patrick Lay, when he was full-time in the birelART UK Series paddock, don't forget, he was a champion. He was the class of the field, but he's been out of the seat for a while, and this is much more physically demanding compared to the Mazdas. Whoa, really getting tough on the outside as Stanley loses the place to Snape. Elliot Stanley trying to go right round the outside of the reigning E-Plate holder. Look again, it's really difficult. The first corner looks like we got more spots on the camera as it tries desperately to pull through the lens. Now, there is your man in 4th position now. Patrick Lay swarming about. Baldwin has got through past Stanley, past Corrie, past Rainbow. Rainbow's coming through past Stanley and Corrie. And now Amy Jurgen's trying to get up the inside of Bradbury as they squabble around. It's all kicking off on the back straight. through the Brunner Ferrari chicane. Baldwin is now at the front of the queue. Now you'll notice that his bumper is the standard birelART bumper and the rest of his kart is his own graphics in blue and white. Well, that is because he had a rather nasty incident earlier on with Will Checkley. They came off the Brunner Ferrari chicane and Baldwin suddenly went straight into the back of Will Checkley. It was almost as if he wasn't expecting Checkley's kart to be there or be as slow as it was anyway out of the turn, and he just went straight into the back and bent the bumper. So that's why he's got the birelART standard bumper on the front of his car. That's a spare. Through goes John Curry, makes the move on Elliott Stanley. What's happened to Elliott Stanley's race in the last 3 laps? He was battling for 3rd position. Now he's gone backwards. I wonder if that's those little drops of rain that have caught him out. Everybody's in the same boat because after the last race, they all said, right, there's no question, no debate about this one. Slicks, that's the way to go, slick tyres. So they all changed to slicks, but there are some drivers who are obviously going to struggle if it is raining a little bit out on the circuit, which it is raining a little bit. So they've got to be very careful. Slick tyres in the wet, obviously that's indoor territory or at least outdoor corporate territory. They'll always have done that sort of driving with grip that's less than the kart can give them, and anybody who's got good experience of that will definitely be in a strong position. Look, Faulkner's starting to break away from Matthew Pearce even ever so slightly, but that will be enough to win the E-plate. Richard Evans has pulled a long way in front of the 4th place squabble. The cavalry is charging behind them. Faulkner and Pearce over the line again. And still, try as he might, Matthew Pearce just cannot break down Sam Faulkner. It's a long way back to Richard Evans, desperately trying to catch them. If he finishes 3rd, I'm fairly sure that the championship will go down to Wilton Mill. We'll have to double check, but he's all but won the championship anyway, Sam Faulkner. If he wins this one, he's just got to keep it together. Matthew Pearce is dropping back for definite. Look at the squabble behind James Baldwin. It's really getting rough. Rainbow holding on in front of Corrie as Bradbury dives up the inside of Amy Jurger to close up on Elliott Stanley as the two of them try to get away from David Darling. They swarm through the right-hander up towards the hairpin loop. Out of Wilkins and over the line once again. Matthew Pearce is doing everything he can, but he just can't crack Sam Faulkner. The man has nerves of steel. He is the Kimi Räikkönen of the paddock in more ways than one. He talks about as much as Kimi Räikkönen does off track, and on the circuit he is just as fearless. Absolutely amazing battles. Up the inside, that's Amy Jurger. Jurger makes the move on the inside there to move up a place. Has she kept it on the exit? No, John Corrie's got her straight back. And actually, a couple more places lost as Rainbow and Bradbury have gone through. Rainbow now makes the move on Corrie. Bradbury holds it to the inside. Rainbow's run wide. Bradbury could get them both. Corrie manages to get through, though, and Bradbury's, he's had to hold back behind Rainbow. So tough in the Brunner Ferrari chicane. We've seen multiple incidents there over the years in multiple championships. Drivers who just are unwilling to back down. And everybody avoiding conflict there. It's a very friendly paddock, this one. They all like each other off track pretty much. But there's a very interesting battle once they get onto the circuit, of course. And still, look, Pearce is desperately trying to find some form of weakness in Sam Faulkner. Come on, there must be one part of the circuit that you're rubbish at, Sam. There's got to be somewhere. At the moment, there isn't. Matthew Pearce is doing his best. Up the inside, Rainbow gets back on John Corrie. Jason Bradbury not close enough to get the undercut. Rainbow gets past Corrie and then gesticulates. Come on, we can catch them. It's a height to nothing with 2 minutes 20 on the clock. But still, Matthew Pearce absolutely determined. He will not quit. He will not give up. Sam Faulkner is leading. Matthew Pearce is right underneath him. If Faulkner wins this, it will be the toughest E-plate he's ever going to win, because Matthew Pearce is just absolutely throwing everything at him. Down to the hairpin once again. They match each other for lap time. They match each other for braking point. They match each other for turning. They match each other for the throttle. They match each other down the back straight. There is nothing to choose between these two other than the positions they're already in. Corrie hangs on in front of Bradbury, into the hairpin. Stanley, Jurger and Darling continue to squabble. Matthew Pearce chucks it through Hanger, trying to get close to Faulkner. He gains him a little bit through Wilkins, but on the way out, Faulkner just goes away again. It's stalemate between the two of them. Incredible to watch, amazing battling. There's the rookie Dave Burns, his first meeting. It's tough to get into these karts for the first time and be competitive. Just ask me. I had a go during the Masters session in these karts. 125 cc's of absolute grunt around the Buckmore Park circuit. I tell you what, I felt that one in the morning. And an absolutely incredible battle and a tough job for any rookie to come into. If you think you're worth your stones in kart racing at senior level, you should give these a try. Not only are they incredibly affordable, but they accelerate like a bullet out of a gun. They are so quick. Here they come again. This is Lay, Snape and Baldwin now scrapping away for fourth. And there's the 7th place battle with 6 of them in it. It's so tight. You always get value for money when it comes to battling on track. There's Faulkner. Now look, he has managed to get a little bit of a gap over Pierce as they come out of Cafe up towards the Stratford hairpin once again. Faulkner has built a little bit of a gap over Matthew Pierce, and that is how little the gap is. It's very tight, it's very tough indeed, but Faulkner is not giving way. He is not surrendering, and he is not going to crack under the pressure. Matthew Pierce is still throwing everything at him. This is the 7th place battle again. Bradbury goes left to try and find his way around the outside of Rainbow. They go into the right-hander at Stratford and up the straight again. Stanley there in 10th position trying to come through. Patrick Lay sliding around all over the place into the Bruno Ferrari chicane. Out of the chicane once again, we've got John Corrie still leading the charge, and we go into the penultimate lap with 4 seconds on the clock as they cross the line. It runs out to nothing now, and we're on the penultimate lap. Faulkner is just a lap and a half away. Oh, looked like something fell off Faulkner's kart there. Now, I don't know if that's something that came off the kart or whether he ran over something. He might have just kicked up a little bit of mud as he went through, but that definitely looked to me like something came away from Faulkner's kart. Now, whether it's a piece that's fallen off it, as Pierce has set the fastest lap, only a whisker faster than Sam Faulkner has managed. Stanley throws it up the inside of Bradbury, and Jurger's going to try and get the advantage on the inside line. Can Jurger get through? Oh, not quite. She has to fall back into place. Look, Faulkner is looking back to see where Pierce is. I wouldn't be surprised if he was looking to see if something's fallen off the kart. I think he's all right, actually. I wonder if it was just a piece of mud. Maybe I was just getting a little bit too hasty there towards the end of the race with 2 to go. That would be the worst place for things to happen. But we have seen incidents like that this year. Morgan Cole's chain guard came off at fullback and his race was over. Sam Dimolo, last time out at Buckmore Park, don't forget. While battling for the lead, his chain guard came off. His race was over. I was rather hoping that wasn't Sam Faulkner's moment for a misery. As up the inside, that's Jurger pulling a last lap move on Snape. Snape is going backwards with his hand in the air. I wonder if something's happened to Tom Snape on the last lap. As here comes Faulkner, he takes the checkered flag, he takes the E-plate, and for my money, that is one hand on the championship trophy. Where's Evans? He's third, so we'll have to do the calculations, but I think that is pretty much Faulkner's championship done. We'll double check. He may have a mathematical chance still, Evans, going to Wilton Mill. We'll have a look afterwards. Well, what an amazing set of battles. Faulkner wins the E-plate from Matthew Pierce and Richard Evans. Patrick Lay does hang on to 4th position after an amazing battle. Matt Rainbow is 5th ahead of John Corrie. Jason Bradbury is 7th from Stanley, Jurger and Darling. So it looks like there was an incident on the last lap between Baldwin and Snape. Sam, you've pretty much done the triple, the championship and the E-plate all in one day. It's been a momentous weekend for you here at Shenington. Yeah,
it's been a good weekend. We didn't qualify too well, but then after that it all came together.
And of course now the pressure's off at Wilton Mill. You can just go out there and have fun.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the point situation is, but it's made it a lot easier at Wilton to seal it.
Well, we've done the maths. The gap is 40 points. If Faulkner has a howler and Evans has a classic at Wilton Mill, Evans could just do it. Jurger is third, just ahead of Matthew Pierce, with Snape and Baldwin close. We move on to the Masters and meet a new boy, Steve Brown.